Yo, what up, everybody? The show's here. Chris and Jason on the mic. Yeah, we got the city's ear. Talking Phillies baseball. It's the only thing to do. Welcome to the Ring the Bell Phillies show for me and you. Ring the bell. It's a Philly thing. You know we ring the bell. Go Phils. Ring the bell.
Yeah, so I'm pretty convinced that the best thing about the Phillies is that opening theme song right now. So
I'm with you on that one.
Welcome to a nice early edition of the Ring the Bell Phillies show, where we talk about that suck-ass baseball team that plays at Citizens Bank Park right now. Look, man, I don't even know sometimes where to begin. I understand it's April. Today's April 17th. There's still 69 regular season home games left to play. But the concerns,
not even a chuckle from you. Not even a chuckle. Be immature for me, just once. We need to laugh about something.
When I read that, and I said to myself, the second I say that, he's gonna smirk like a freshman in high school, and I'm just like, I can't look at him because I'll laugh. So I just knew. Jay, they allowed 20, they being the Phillies, they allowed 28 runs over 3 games against the Chicago Cubs, dropping 2 of 3. Then you have Jesus Luzardo getting tagged for like 37 hits. He says he's not tipping his pitches. The rotation has been bad, and from an ERA standpoint, yet they're top 2 or 3 in almost every other statistic. In Major League Baseball, they have the second worst run differential in baseball at -25. Dude, this is, you kind of said, I don't want to steal your thunder. You can repeat it, but right before we went live, you said it. Everything that you thought could go wrong is already going wrong.
Yeah, and it's tough because, listen, I know. We had the preview show. We're both hyped. Baseball's back. So maybe I was a little overzealous because, listen, I don't think I never believed in Luzardo. I didn't really. I thought he was an average pitcher, and they gave him a big deal. But when you look at this team, and I text you when we saw that whatever that stat was, where they're showing like top 2 in strikeouts per 9, top 2 in walks, in ground balls, second ground, so the pitching staff is doing everything right, except they're just getting hit. They have the worst out of all pitching staffs, and I guess this is including bullpen too. They have the highest on base percentage, and they have they're tied now with the second most hits in the league for their pitching staff. Tied for first. Yeah, them and the Nats, and the Phillies have 1 less game played. So when you look at that, it's just a recipe for disaster. Even if you're just an ERA guy and you look at Luzardo, I think he has a 2.0 ERA right now. Mm-hmm. But when you look at his batting average against and his whip, it's a lot more. I feel like he's gotten out of some jams, and the ERA isn't really indicative of how he's pitched poorly this season, but they all have. And now you're at a point when you're still continuing to throw Walker out there with a 7 ERA every day or every 5th day. You have, Luzardo, who the organization believed in. So as fans, all we can really do is trust that they know what's best. I didn't believe in Luzardo. I know you were a little bit higher on him than I was, but when you watched him for his career, he's not been a guy that's been, a top 3 pitcher on his staff, especially on a team that's going to win a World Series. So it's just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And I just, when everybody was telling me this was a pitching staff that was on par with last season, people, I don't know if it's, how bad they're upset they were that we lost at the end, that they just forgot. Mm-hmm. But this was a historically good, first 12 games or first 12 starts for all these guys. They were the best pitching staff in baseball. So people forget how good they pitched, and it's just going downhill. And, Wheeler is now being pushed back a little bit longer than everybody expected. But I don't even know at this point if Wheeler solves our problems, because Nola's not pitching, Luzardo's not pitching, Walker's not pitching. Painter has shown some real good flashes that he is going to be a guy. But outside of that, and, with Sanchez, I'll give Sanchez credit because he is pitching decent, but it's not what you expected. I didn't expect him to be this bad, especially Sanchez.
I agree. And I think that the big problem and the big difference in Chris Sanchez that we're seeing is the fact that, I mean, he's walking a ton of guys right now. It's not so much the hits. Obviously, he's not giving up a lot of runs, but the dude is just walking 3, 4, 5 guys to start. And that's pretty abnormal for a guy like Sanchez, whose control and location is usually pretty spot on. Going back to Luzardo, 12 hits against the Cubs. He hasn't done that since May of last year. Luzardo's ERA through 4 starts is up to a 7.94. It's just crazy. And, we were wondering, because he had the same issue in 25, is Luzardo tipping his pitches? He is adamant that he's not. So then I don't know what's going on. Maybe his location is off. I mean, his velocity is good, if not up from last year, this time last season, apparently. But he can't seem to just get out of innings. It's almost as if once he gets a runner on, that's it. And that's almost the same problem that we've had with Aaron Nola the past half decade is if Nola had to once runners got on base with Nola, he almost lost it because one, he can't do any pickoffs. His time to the plate is too long, so he was easy to steal. So basically, it's almost as if once Nola surrendered a runner, within a couple pitches, he's on second base. So, right now we're at the point with Luzardo where once he walks a guy or gives up a single, all hell breaks loose. And that's pretty much what we're seeing. And Jay, this is, polar opposite from last season right now with this pitching staff. Taijuan, it is Taijuan. It is what it is right there. He's going to be there until Wheeler is ready to go. I thought Wheeler would have been back by now. But hey, look, it's April 17th. I initially, we all didn't expect Wheeler to be back until May or June. And the dude is probably going to be ready by the end of April. But, Jay, this pitching staff, you're right, and I'm a victim of this. I fell victim to looking at them on paper and seeing a lot of their performances from last season, and I thought, damn, if this team can make the World Series this year, that pitching staff looks so dominant. And here we are at 8-10, thinking, I think a big problem, obviously, the offense, which we're going to get to. Yeah. This pitching staff is just not holding up its end of the bargain right now.
No, and outside of really Duran, the bullpen, the guys that you need to rely on are all struggling as well. Tanner Banks, ERA's in the 5. Our buddy, everybody was talking, we got Alvarado back. Yeah, we do. We have Alvarado back. Yes, we do. Okay. What do you guys expect? What does everybody expect from a dude who's always been a location issue guy who, when he gives up hits, he gives up hits? Kirkring's got a 4 ERA, and the guy everybody bragged about because he was great last year, and Brad Keller, he's struggling too. So it's not just the starting rotation. This everybody, 1 through 25 is really shit in the bed right now. And just in that pitching staff, I know there was some optimism, but I felt like more had to go right than not for this pitching staff especially without Wheeler, for them to be good. And so many people drank the Kool-Aid. And I know I came on the preview show and drank the Kool-Aid and was talking about it and said, I still only gave 93 wins. I was lower, but I thought that was achievable with this team. I didn't think they would be this bad. I didn't think everybody would really just shit the bed. I thought Sanchez would be a little bit better. I know the two ERA is, good, but I still didn't think he'd give up. His whip is 1.3. He's given up, his batting average against is like 270. So I know it's not super huge. It's not Luzardo bad, but it's up there, much worse than you expected. And I expected more from Nola. So it's just tough. Everything's going wrong and they're getting hit. And I don't think it's a quick fix. And to me, it might even be more. I don't know if teams just have is the whole team tipping pitches, because it really feels like when they're getting hit, when this team gets hit, like you said, the worst run differential, they get hit. And we've given up a lot of runs to teams that shouldn't be putting up 12, 13 runs against us.
Yeah. And looking at, before we move over to the offense, to continue with the pitching staff, because pitching's a big deal, the Phillies, let me just say this really quick. We're going up against the Atlanta Braves this weekend, who everyone thought their pit, including myself, many national pundits looked at that. Man, that is a debilitated pitching staff. The Braves are going to have a really tough issue with pitching this season. Well, fun fact, everybody, right now, the best pitching staff in the league, according by ERA, are the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves have a 2.93 team ERA, while the fighting Philadelphia Phillies sit at 26th in baseball at a near 5 overall ERA in pitching. So again, for people wondering, Phillies also have given up the most hits in baseball at 176. So it's in the Braves. Where are the Atlanta Braves in terms of hits surrendered? 132. They are top 3 in baseball in the least amount of hits given up by their pitching staff. So for when this is a free fall right now for the Phillies, in my opinion, where the pitching and the offense, they're both terrible. And now you're going into a weekend series against the Braves, who have the best pitching in baseball right now. This is my issue. And then let's go over to the offense, which is, again, second worst run differential in baseball. There's a lot I want to talk about because I thought Wednesday's loss, 11-2 loss, is kind of indicative of where the Phillies are right now offensively. And here's what I want to talk about. Imanaga pitched against the Phillies on Wednesday, correct? That's right. Yeah. So Imanaga recorded 26 swing and misses against the Phillies, the most by a starter in Major League Baseball this season. Damn. It's the most by an opposing starter against the Phillies since Jacob deGrom induced 35 swinging strikes on September 6, 2020. Of the 26 whiffs, 2020, it's been 6 years almost.
It's funny the difference of those two pitchers,
Exactly. Of the 26 whiffs, 14 of them came on Imanaga's splitter. Only 42 of Imanaga's 97 pitches were in the strike zone. That means, you know what the Phillies are doing again? They're Mr. Kevin Long and Jason Kent. They are swinging at pitches out of the zone, and their chase rate is insane. Yeah. Jay, how long will it take before Kevin Long is blackballed from teaching hitting in Major League Baseball because he can't do it?
I don't get it, too. And you hear them talk about they want to be more selective at the plate. Yeah. I don't. You see it all, that since Bryce has been here, since this team, since 22, when they just, everybody, so once they started winning, they've just been so sporadic at that plate. There's too many chase and misses. There's too many guys pressing to be the guy instead of trusting and getting on base. And I don't know if it's a baseball thing today. I know we hear it all with, all these, there's so many more pitches now, I think, than there, were 50 years ago. Guys are throwing harder. So I understand that part of it, but we have a lineup that's really built to either hit, smash or do nothing. Schwarber is doing Schwarber things. Yeah, he's going to hit the bombs, but he strikes out a lot. Harper feels like he's pressing too, and he's trying to do too much. Turner is struggling. Jay Crawford's coming back down to earth. When Brandon Marsh is leading your team in average, you have a lot of issues. So I don't know with that. Yes, he needs to be, Long shouldn't be the hitting coach anymore here. I think we've seen enough of him and enough of everything to know they're not, something's not working. There has to be a change. It really feels like at this point, there has to be some sort of change in the organization. I know I said it last year towards the end. It's still too early, but either you got to get rid of GM and head coach and bring in some new guys, bring in a fresh voice, bring in something to change it up, or it's time to really say, hey, I know you just paid the pitchers, but it's not working. And we got to move on and rebuild it or do something. I felt strongly about that last year, even though we were the second best team in baseball. You're losing a lot of guys. Something's off. They need something fresh. I don't know. With Bohm's really struggling. I think he should be benched for at least a week. Get him out, get his head right. But it's more than just Bohm. Nobody's really performing. There's been nobody that step up. There are times you see some moments with these guys, but they're few and far between at this point. And it's not. I don't think it's an easy fix. I kept saying. I know we've said, talk to me in June, talk to me in July when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
But we've said it on here a million times. While you're not going to win a division in April, you sure as hell can put yourself behind that 8 ball. Thank God there's 3 wild card teams because the Phillies are really struggling, and it's not looking good, especially with a lot of the other teams that are performing better than expected. That could be like Pittsburgh's and those type of teams. The Cubs are now they're getting hot. I guess when you play the Phillies, that's what happens. But it's not looking good. It's not an easy fix. There's too much chasing. I'm watching. They're just chasing out of the zone. It's like we have 9 Ryan Howard swinging the sliders on this team right now.
You're right. And, looking at, Bryce Harper said it after the game Wednesday. He said, obviously it's early in the season, but I don't like that notion at all. I like to win games in April as much as I like to win games in September. And that's something that we've talked about before in terms of guys hitting in the lineup. Guys like Harper in his last 7 games, he is slashing .333, .429, and slugging .667. But again, we say this all the time, which is why I hate when people say, "Oh, Bryce, doesn't have a World Series ring," or Aaron Judge doesn't have a World Series ring. But this is that one guy really doesn't make a difference on a baseball team. If you want proof, does Mike Trout have a World Series ring? He does not. All those years in baseball in the 90s, Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't have a World Series ring. Like, it takes more than one dude that's slashing .330 and .440 and a .700 slugging to win baseball games. Because, Harper could go 4 for 4 at 4 solo shots. He most likely, the way the pitching staff is, you're going to lose the game 5-4 anyway. So it's
you give him too much credit there. It's probably going to be like 10-4.
Let's be my bad. You're right. Good call. My bad. But so looking at the Phillies offense right now, and I'm looking overall in all of baseball, the Houston Astros have the most runs in baseball. The Philadelphia Phillies have the 24th runs in baseball at 72. In terms of hits, the Atlanta Braves lead Major League Baseball with 180 hits. The Philadelphia Phillies are 24th in baseball with 139. The almighty home run, which the Phillies usually are a pretty good measure in terms of how their offense is doing. They are 10th in baseball with 20 home runs.
How many RBIs though? Where are they in RBIs too?
RBIs. The Phillies are, let's scroll all the way down to 24th in baseball with 71 RBIs. In terms of walks, again, the Philadelphia Phillies 25th in baseball in walks. Strikeouts, they're actually not bad at strikeouts. They are 17th in baseball, only 157 strikeouts. But again, this is also a team that's not stealing bases. They are 22nd in stolen bases. Jay, this is a bottom 6 baseball team. I mean, in baseball right now, through 18 games, they are in the same league, in the same level as, let me just go to a bad team. They are the San Francisco Giants, the Chicago White Sox, the Cincinnati Reds, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Colorado Rockies have more runs.
And the difference when all those teams you just named, one of those teams, not just by us here, not by us knucklehead fans, but by, people that know baseball. We're projected to win the division. We're projected to make the playoffs. So it's not just us being homers that's doing it and talking about it. It's they're projected. This was a team that was supposed to make the playoffs, and you're talking about a Chicago White Sox team that's one of the worst in baseball, Colorado Rockies team, one of the worst in baseball. So when you look at it, you just don't understand. And listen, I don't know, and I think those stats tell you exactly what we've been preaching for years now. I know we got away from it, but I think it's really, we've said it on the show. The guy that leads this team in home runs should at least be batting 3rd or 4th. At this point, it doesn't matter, because if you have him behind Harper, I know Harper, I don't know, because you have protection for Harper regardless. Bohm's been there. You've had Adolis there. You've had Marsh there. But Marsh isn't put fear into you. I'd rather pitch away from Harper and face Marsh. So for Harper to be doing so well with no protection, screw it. We got to get the guy that leads this team in home runs, because we see, like you said, we're 11th in home runs, but we're 24th or 25th in RBIs. We have, we have 20 home runs, but 70 RBIs. That's telling me a lot of those damn shots are solo shots. And the
Yeah.
two dudes that are leading your team in home runs, yes, Harper's third, but the guy that's leading the home runs batting second, and Turner's not getting on base.
Right.
Those home runs would be better suited because it's not always the back-to-back shots. I think they've had one or two this season, but still, if you have Harper on base now, Schwarber hitting that home run means a little bit more. It just helps. So there's got to be a huge change, and Dombrowski and Topper have to sit down. There has to be some hard discussions because this is not what you expected. This is exactly the type of April that gets you fired, just like it did Girardi back in 22. So I don't know if firing Topper will make them do it, but there has to be some sort of change. There has to be some more movement in this lineup. I get you're saying you're doing things with it, but your top three dudes you haven't touched. That's where the change needs to happen. That's what we've all said for the last 3 years is those three dudes need to be shuffled around a little bit and not have Schwarber in the top two. And it's showing a lot this year. And that's the mistake. And Topper, if you want to earn your goddamn paycheck, you tell us you're supposed to make moves, make the damn move. Get the bopper for, give you some old school in baseball. Come on. We need something here.
So everything you said, should be put on a poster and put in every Phillies fan's room. And because I look at it this way, and you and I talked about this multiple times already, 18 games into a season. If you're going to the ballpark, if you're Rob Thompson and you're walking into the ballpark every day, Jay, and you're thinking in your head, man, who am I going to bat cleanup today? Shouldn't that ring every alarm in your baseball head to say, I have a guy hitting two who can easily solve my problem in the
100%.
4-hole every single day? Where is the mental disconnect there?
I don't know. It's got to be, like we've said it. I understand Judge and Ohtani are two, batting leadoff, batting two. I get it. Those teams are much deeper have guys that can actually bat cleanup as well. Those managers know who's the cleanup hitter when they're going to the park every freaking day. They're not changing. They haven't had 4 cleanup hitters, on their team so far because if they did, it's because they have multiple guys that can bat cleanup on their teams. Phillies have one dude. Well, you could put Harper there, but I'd rather Harper be higher in the lineup. So you have really one dude that can bop you 45 to 55 in home runs. Why?
Yep.
And I'm starting to believe what the old co-hosts would say about him. I joked. I was like, you know what? We beat that horse dead, very dead. It disintegrated. It's time to get a new horse because I feel like I'm beating a lot this year. It is. There's no reason that those guys shouldn't be the ones getting moved more.
What I don't even like about it is Topper won't even try it for a night.
No.
You're willing to put Marsh at 4, Bohm at 4, Adolis Garcia at 4, but for one game, you're not willing to go and say, hey, Schwarbs, we're just going to throw in the cleanup tonight and see if we can get something rolling. How are you not even willing to try it for one game?
I don't know, because to me, I really don't buy the Schwarber is calling that shot. I don't believe it. It's hard for me to sit here and say a baseball guy like Topper is going to be like, he's been around, and he was with those Yankees teams that were winning. So he's been around baseball. He knows what it takes. I don't buy that Schwarber is controlling it. I do think baseball's gone probably a little too analytical, and there's not, and this team's going too hard that way. But you hope Topper can figure something out. Yeah, he's got to make a move, because if it keeps like this, Mattingly is going to be coaching the team not too distant future. So something's got to change. Yeah,
I was about to say, if he doesn't make moves soon, he's going to be out of moves to make because he'll be out of a job. So that's something.
Baseball's coming fast.
All right, so that wraps up basically us covering the pitching. We had a lot to talk about, everyone, based on a single 3-game series, which really just showed a lot. They were outscored 28.
So much optimism after that first game.
Oh my
too.
God.
Just like they did in Colorado, and then the bats just shit the bed.
Yep, that was it.
Sorry.
I sent it.
Dude,
you should be. I sent a text to Jay about what is happening, and Jay said same thing in Colorado. It was the same formula. The Phillies were outscored by the Cubs 28-13 in a 3-game set. That it's just wild to me. So I mean,
If they lose
scored
tonight, they'll in less than 20 games, they'll have 3 different 3-game losing streaks, you know?
and we're 19, and we'd be 19
Yeah,
games into a
19 games
season.
in, you got 3 different 3-game losing streaks. You haven't had you've had one point at this season where they've won more than one game. And that was the Washington and Colorado, between the 2 in Washington, 2 in Colorado. Outside of that, it's been 1 win. They haven't been able to put together multiple wins in a row outside of one time this season, which to me is insane.
Well, I'm sorry to possibly be the bearer of bad projection here.
It's happening.
So Taiwan is on the mound tonight for the Phillies, and Perez is on the mound for the Braves, who's a lefty. However, the Phillies are the worst left-handed hitting team in Major League Baseball right now. So I'm not sure if it's going to come today. Sanchez is on the hill on Saturday, and then the Phillies round out their weekend series against the Braves with Andrew Painter on the mound on Sunday. Jay?
That's actually my most optimism to get a win right there. Because I think Chris Sale, because to me, I feel like I don't trust him, but it's Sanchez has to face Sale. T1 count as a loss already. Sanchez could be the guy, but Chris Sale is doing Chris Sale things again. Yeah. He looks good. So and he's got that funky delivery. Yeah. This could really be a series where we get swept.
So I'm just saying, I'm going to make a prediction based on what you said. I don't want to sound. This is bad. This is like Doomer 94 WIP garbage, but I think it could possibly happen. If the Phillies get swept this weekend, I think by Monday Topper's not there anymore.
I don't think that's a bad take, because it's exactly what happened to Girardi. They were remember 22, they were projected to do better. Wasn't that the year he got fired, right? In 22, Girardi.
22. He was 22 and 29 and he got fired.
He was struggling. And that was a team that's supposed to be better. So I definitely don't think, and I do think we've been saying it for a while. I don't know what's going on with Middleton, but I do feel Dombrowski's got to feel pressure this year.
For sure.
That's why if Dombrowski's really running the show like everyone thinks, and it's not really, they're not sure. They think it's Middleton's kind of said he's ceded to Dombrowski. If Dombrowski is really running that show, he's got to feel the pressure now. And you bring in Donnie Baseball for exactly this reason. I said it when they signed him. I thought this could be that move. And if they get swept, there could be some talk. And I don't know if they'll give him this respect. Say, hey, I'm stepping down. I don't want to do it anymore. Or just be like, yo, we got to let you go. We got to move in a new direction because these guys need a new voice. I don't think that's a terrible take at all, because I do think I've been thinking it for the last couple of years that he's needed to go at the end of the season. Yeah. And a start like this, it would be really expedite that.
With a team that's as talented as this one, with a payroll that's top 3 in baseball, I think his passive-aggressive attitude just no longer fits the bill. I really don't like the fact that he's going into post-game press conference saying we have a really good baseball team. I'd really like for one day for him to come up and say, I demand better. I expect better. They're better players. They're not doing their job.
I think that's what adults want to fucking hear too. Yeah, if I'm a player, I want my manager to be I want him. I get you can't have everybody Bob Knight. I get they can't all be Bob Knights. But I know players, these guys are adults, and I don't know if it is, maybe it's a little bit less these days, but if I'm a dude that's sucking, I want to be told I sucked. Pause. I want to just be told you're terrible. Don't, fix something. Go to the cages. I'm benching you. I'd rather my manager be like that and really yell at him and demand greatness than say, hey, we are a great team. We'll figure it out. I'd rather have the demand of greatness. And that's what I felt always those Yankees teams that were winning. All the great teams, that's what their managers demand of their team. I don't feel that's demanded of these guys. They let them be themselves, and that works up to a point. I don't think, and they're not good enough to just win on town alone, because they don't care enough, it feels like.
And what I like, I'm going to compare sports here because cultures are sometimes just different. It's not all about vibes, as the Phillies like to sell their whole team on vibes, and just complete and utter BS. In the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets head coach, Rick Bowness, the other day after a game, said to the media that and he's a head coach, and the Blue Jackets kind of had a really big topple at the end of the season. They were a playoff team like 3 weeks ago. They missed the playoffs because they went like 2-8 in their last 10. Rick Bowness went into a post-game presser in front of the world and said, if I'm back here next year, I'm changing the culture because my team, they don't care. And I said, that is what's needed more in a team like the Phillies or even Major League Baseball for a manager who sees it every day to go in front of the camera and say, something's got to change because these guys don't care enough. And then guess what just happened yesterday? The Blue Jackets gave that head coach an extension.
Good for them. That's what you because that's what you need.
Exactly. You know what it also tells me? That the players received it. And the players didn't complain and say, we can't play for this guy. No, they said, you know what? He's right. Things got to change. That's what has to happen for the Phillies, where I would like a manager to, if they lose, which I think they're going to lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, I want the manager to go in there and say, we need to care more. We need to prepare better. We need to take this a little bit more seriously.
Because we need to start taking BP on off days. Do something. Get in the goddamn cages.
I agree. You know what else you need to do, Topper? Put Kyle Schwarber in the 4th spot. That would be nice. All right, Jay, your prediction for this weekend against the Atlanta Braves.
0-3.
So you think there's a manager change on Monday?
I listen. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens. I do think it's a possibility, but I think that I think they get down to 5 in a row. I think they lose 5 in a row here. I just think this, like you said, they got 2 lefties pitching in a row the next 2 days. This team is really struggles against left-handed pitching. You know, are we going to see Stott and we're going to see Marsh, Harper, Schwarber? You have too many lefties. I think they're just pitching well. They're pitching better, and the way it's set up. You know, we got T1 pitching game 1. That's a guaranteed loss. Sale's going against Sanchez. You hope Painter can come out Sunday night and roll and dominate. You know, but like you said, it's a great offense over there. It's a great pitching staff, and the Phillies are the exact opposite end of that. So I think this is a reality check for them, and hopefully a little reverse psychology. Hopefully they come out to hear this and like, yo, that clown with a great living room said we're going to get swept. Let's go out and sweep the Atlanta Braves. So I'm hoping there's a little bit of that, but I doubt it.
So I'm going to say they're going to lose 2 out of 3. I do think they sneak a win on Sunday.
That's their best shot.
Grant Holmes is throwing against Painter. I feel like after seeing Perez and Chris Sale that maybe the offense wakes up on a Sunday. But again, I think they get blown out tonight and Saturday, which means Sunday, I guess, is a minor consolation prize, which is pretty sad to say.
They bring up the Gwinnett Braves to play us. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, a win Sunday to me, I will say if they win, I mean, if they win on Sunday, if they're losing the first 2, I still think it's time for a change because again, a consolation mop-up win on Sunday.
But I do love the world's going to like this could be. Listen, I think Painter can be a guy. It's the prime. I hate that it's on Peacock nowadays, but still, I think this is the game that this could be the game that shows the world, hey, here's one of the next great pitchers in this league.
Yeah. All right. So Jason has them getting swept. I had the Phillies losing 2 out of 3. Their only win, I think, will be coming on Sunday. So we will be back hopefully Sunday night. Probably not. Probably Monday at some – right? It's a night game. So, I mean –
it's a 7:20 game, yeah.
So, I mean, if the Phillies lose quick, if we get like a 2-hour game, maybe maybe we'll see you. I'm trying to think. When's their are they off on Monday?
No, they got a 4 game against the Cubs.
Okay. Sorry. We will figure this out and we will let you guys know. I hate when they play the night games on Sunday nights because it almost kind of just ruins the whole schedule. But we will keep you guys updated. But again, Jay has them getting swept. I had them
10 straight games coming up too.
Dude, it's going to be
not an off day for another 2. Yeah. So it's.
It's a lot of baseball. And this is a team that if Topper believes in, we got to keep playing and swing our way out of it. You got 10 games in a row coming up. You better find a way to swing yourself out of it. All All right, guys. Thank you so very much. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use our code Ring the Bell for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. If you're watching us on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, ring that bell on the side there on the bottom to let yourself know when we're going to be going live again. Jay, thank you so very much as always. This has been Ring the Bell, your Philly show, and we'll catch you all down the road. Have a good one, everybody. I'm not going to say go Phils because maybe some little JoJo mess bad luck here. I've been saying it. They suck. I'm not going to say it. Maybe we'll
reverse the juju. I got it. I'm going to go play MLB The Show and beat down the Braves now. Just
that's good. Put it on beginner. Put it on beginner and win like 74-1.
I'm putting up a hundo spot. I'm going to carry Chris Sale up.
Good. You'll be the only one. A video game version of the Phillies will take care of it. Exactly. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.